What's good as a hobby but terrible as a profession? Baking. I love to make bread and cakes, but on my time. I couldn't imagine having to wake up at 3 a.m. every day to start making bread. I love to cook and bake. Friends have asked me many times why I won't do it as a profession. I firmly believe if I had to do as a job I'd end up hating it, and I never want to be in that position. Crochet and knitting. I'm constantly being told, you should have a business doing that. But nobody will be willing to pay for my time. They'd only be willing to pay for materials if I'm lucky. For example, a double bed-sized blanket in a relatively simple stitch would take me 170 to 200 hours. Basic yarn approximately 40 pounds to 60 pounds. I'd be lucky if the customer would pay 50 pounds to 80 pounds. It's the same for a lot of handcrafts. I was literally, jaw on the floor, the other day when I saw a designer crochet halter top being sold for 600 pounds. I'd be super lucky if I got 15 pounds to 20 pounds. Building computers. Used to be a great hobby for me back in the day, but once you work in a place that troubleshoot and maintain them, you get tired of the constant monotony for spec-ing out the layout and hardware, software install and updating, making sure connections are seated properly, etc. Took all the fun and wonder away. Bowling. Unless you're good enough to be in the top approximately 20 in the world. The top earner in all of 2020 made $293,000 from the PBA Tour. The 10th highest earner made $71,000. Only 16 made more than $50,000. From there it just keep dropping to where the number 50 earner only made about $10,000. You also have to pay for each tournament you enter. If 300 bowlers show up for a tournament you need to finish roughly in the top 100 to even make your money back. It's just too hard to go all in on. Most pro bowlers either run pro shops or give lessons when they can. From a documentary I saw, it is my understanding that many bowlers supplement their income with a bit of hustling. It's called Kingpin, worth checking out. I'm a composer and I don't really see my music doing money, and there are two reasons for that. 1. The music industry is very large and I see that a large number of artists and groups are competing for a small place on the top. Everything seems unpredictable, too many variables, too many possibilities, and I don't feel like risking my chances at it. 2. My style simply isn't mainstream. For now, I'll just keep learning and doing it as a hobby and maybe I'll please some people one day. Yo-yo. Best substitute teacher I ever had this big trunk of yo-yos. All different kinds that he used for different tricks. Guy was a master. He would sub for basically any grade so I encountered him all through school. And that's all he did the whole class, show us yo-yo tricks. By high school he remembered our names, we remembered and demanded to see our favorite tricks. Can't recall his name though, he had to be some kind of professional. We called him the yo-yo guy. Dancing. Most dancers get paid shit, they break their bodies throughout their lives, and have to retire very young in most cases. I think most hobbies are terrible as professions. I'm a home brewer, and jobs in breweries seem pretty stressful with long days to meet market demands, without a great pay. Chef. It's fun to cook for friends but the general public sucks. Hobbyist collecting. I've known two people who grew up loving comic books, so they opened their own comic book stores as adults. It's not just that 90+% of comic shops tend to go under for lack of business, although that's certainly true. The other reality is that the customers are, if possible, even more demanding, opinionated, and rude than customers in other retail stores. The problem with opening a business related to what you know and are passionate about is that while most people are subject matter experts on that passion, they don't know jack about running a business or marketing. Cooking maybe? I love to cook. But after doing it for work, cooking stuff I don't even like making, for 12 hours a day, I get home and make myself microwaved ramen. I get so burnt out on cooking. I worked for a catering company for several years as a teen. Chopping onions in a fine dice like they do on cooking shows is fun and relaxing. Doing 500 in the morning before you start on carrots and then celery zaps every bit of fun out of it. Ever seen a prep cook's hands after a full day's work? Well, would you look at that? Turns out the answer is everything. The trick is to find a profession that doesn't make you hate yourself. Bonus points if you genuinely enjoy it, offers the amount of work-life balance that you want, and can finance your lifestyle. Then you just take your time and money outside of work to work on your hobbies as you please, without ending up resenting your hobby. Video games seems like an absolutely horrible industry to work in with crunch time and constant demands up the throat. Game industry is the lowest paying in the tech industry 2IIRC. You'd make twice as much working for say Nvidia or Intel what you would make working for a game company.